Okay, so hello and welcome back to another Python tutorial. In this one we're going to be doing another task which is going to be slightly more complicated than the last task, which was the random dice roller thing. In this one we're going to be using arrays and taking input, doing some maths, and this is what we're making. So the first bit is to store, as you can see, names, marks for 3 different tests which have limits of marks, and then calculating stuff depending on the marks, and then outputting something at the end. So we do quite a few different things in this. Because it's on a different thing, I can't really keep it up at the same time, but we don't really need to. So we need some way of storing names, marks, and test scores. So, well, the marks are the test scores, I guess. So let's make an array called student names equals, and then we've got an array. We could have the test1 marks. Test1 marks equals an array. Let's just keep that small t. Then we got test2 marks, test3 marks. Now keep in mind I'm doing this off the top of my head, so there might be more optimal ways of doing it, and you can maybe think about that. So that's all we really need, the names and the marks for each score. And then, for example, if we have 2 students, it should be 2 names and then 2 scores, 2 scores, 2 scores. So it should all align correctly. So that's basically task 1 done, to be honest. We have arrays ready to put them in. But before we do task 2, really, we have to take in these things. So let's just have a main, which is going to be where it starts off at, and then we'll run main from down here. This is just so we can start off using functions. So in the main, we're going to start off by taking, we'll put pupils equals integer input, how many, well, I've used students, so I'll put the word students. How many students are there? Question mark. And I'm leaving a space for the input. But there we go. So obviously if we run that now, you'll see how many students are there. 5, I don't know. Done. Alright. Then we want to say, we want to loop asking for names depending on those marks. So there's different ways you can do this. For example, you could have it take the first person's name and their marks, and the second person's name and their marks. I feel like that's the best way to do it. So we could do, like, for I in range, as we've used this plenty of times, pupils, do this. So we want it to say name equals string input, enter pupil. Okay, what we can do is we can do enter pupil, then we'll do plus, then we can take a number, so we say which pupil wants. We're going to enter pupil 0's name, enter pupil 1's name, enter pupil 2's name. So then all we want here is I plus 1, and then we want that as a string. Now the reason why I plus 1 is because the first pupil will be 0, and we don't want it to say enter pupil 0 name. We want 1, just to this is just for displaying. Then we can put okay, I'm just gonna see if this is right, because this should work. So let me just test. It's always good to test. How many students are there? 5. Enter pupil 1's name. Hello. Pupil 2's. 3's, 4's, 5's. Now, obviously, it doesn't look right. Enter pupil 1's name. You could put first, second, third, fourth. You could sort all that out, but for now, I'll just leave it like this. And whenever it takes a name, we want it to add it to the list, but we'll do that at the end once we've taken in the marks. So we could put mark1 equals int input mark1 score, and then that's where they put in the mark1 score. But the problem is, what if, because you see for the task, we need to get a mark out of 20. So if they enter a mark below 0 or greater than 20, it's not going to be good. So after you've asked to take in the mark, we can do a while. So we can do while mark1 is less than 0. Sorry, so yeah, well, it's less than 0 because we're allowing 0. So yeah, while mark1 is less than 0. Let's put this in brackets to be easier. So while mark1 is less than 0, or mark1 is greater than 20, was it? Yeah, greater than 20. Do something. What do we want it to do? Well, we want it to take mark1 again. So let's do int input. Please re-enter mark1 score. Because this is assuming they've entered it outside the range. So, how many students? 2. Nathan. Enter the score. 25. Please re-enter. 25, 25, 25. 19. Done. So it's going to keep asking you until you enter a thing in the range. Now, obviously we're going to copy and paste this to save time. Just get rid of these indentations. Change all the numbers. Make sure we don't miss any. So on enter mark 2, 2, 3, 3. Wait, what am I doing? Sorry, 1, 2, 3. What am I doing here? 1, 2, 3, mark 1, mark 2, mark 3, mark 1, mark 2, mark 3. So this is the first part of the loop. So it's all mark 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 out of 20. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3 here. Also, we want the thing to be out of 25 and then 30. So 25, and I think it's 35. Yeah. So let's just quickly test that. Let's say there's 2 students. Nathan. Alright, the marks have to be, let's put -2. No, let's put 21. No, 15 will do. Whoops, 15. Enter the second one. 25 is allowed, but 26 isn't. 25 should be. Oh, I forgot to change that to say 3. But apart from that, it all works. Anyway. And then after we've done all of this, for each student, we then need to add it to the arrays. So we can do student. Wait, we want this to be in the loop because we want it to do it for each person. So inside the loop after the whiles, so it's on this row, so it's inside the loop, for loop. Student names dot append, which I've gone over to append before. I add something to the end of the list, student names, which will be name. Then we'll go test1 marks dot append mark1. And then, just for the sake of time, 2, 3. I don't know why it does indentations like that. Test2 marks.append, test3 marks.append, mark1, mark2, mark3. Okay, so that takes in all of this. Now, if we get to the end of here, and we just print student names, print test1 marks. There's no need to do any more. If this works, the rest will work. How many students? 2. Nathan. I spelled my name wrong. Oh well. I got maybe 10 marks, then 23 marks, then 30 marks. Div person, so I can get 5 marks, 23 again, and then maybe 12. So as you can see, it's printing just the test scores for test 1, which is 10, and then 5 for Nathan assigned. So that all works fine. Now, what else do we want? Well, first of all, I am going to make a function called take names and scores. Think of a nicer name for for a function than this. But this is just so I can have the different parts of the program. Let's just get rid of this now. and then this can run, take names and scores. And then what I'm going to do is, when I have other functions to run after this one, I'll put it here, for example. So now we want to calculate the totals for each student. So I could also put like student totals. Have another array to store those. So go down here, make another function called calculate totals, and then we can do. We want to add up the test 1, test 2, and test 3. So for I in range 0, comma, then we want to know how many pupils there are. So really, we want it to well, know how many pupils there are. So what we can do is actually we can run at the end of this calculate totals, and we can pass in pupils, which is the number of pupils there are, and then here from 0 to pupils we want to we want to say total equals test 1 marks 0, well no, sorry, I, plus test 2 marks I, plus test 3 marks I. Now, the reason we do this is because we've got that many pupils and we're going to go through each one. So for student 0, all of these I's will be 0. So it'll get the first mark in everything and add that up. Then it's going to student totals dot append, and then we pass in the total. And I can show you that works, and if it doesn't, we'll find out later, but that will work. So that's going to calculate the totals for everyone. Now we want to calculate the average for the whole class. So why don't we just do calculate average? It's nice to have multiple functions. Now I'm going to show you another way, which is, I mean, I don't know why it didn't come to my mind, but when I passed in the pupils to know how many, we could do an easier way, which we will do. So instead of passing in pupils and using pupils here, we can still just run calculate total from the main function, which will get run after taking names and scores has done. We can actually use the array student names, and we can use the length of it, because the amount of names there are of students is the amount of students, you know? It's just a nicer way to do it, I guess. But anyway, calculating average, what do we want to do? We want to calculate the average score for the whole class. So should we calculate the average score per test, or just average score for the whole class? I guess we could do average total score. So what we'll do is we will do for I in range 0, comma, well, we'll just do len student name again. What we want to do is we want to add up the we could just add up every mark, then divide by 3, because that will give you the whole total over the whole thing. Or you could just, no, we can just add up the totals and divide by the students, because we've already calculated the totals here. So we could just do, nah, wait, what am I doing? I've just realized, because we already have that, we could just do it in the same function here, because it's really simple. After we've calculated all the things, we can just do like average equals student, well, we need to know how many student totals there are actually. So for I in range 0, comma, len student names, we want to have we'll just have total score equals 0. We're going to do total score plus equals, so it'll add to it, student totals I until we've got a total score of the whole class, and then at the end of this we'll do class average is equal to total score divided by the len of students. So I don't know why I like doing brackets for this. So obviously we get the total score, which will be whatever it is, divided by the amount of students, which will give you the class average. Okay, so that's done. Output names followed by their scores, output the average. Okay, so now I can make a final function called like def output stats. I don't know. So we want to output the totals for each student. Well, the names followed by the scores. So we want to print. Well, we want to do it for each person. So we're going to go like usual for I in range. We can just keep with 0, len student names. So for each student, we want to print student names I plus, and then what did they get? So we'll say like Nathan total score. Actually, I can do the apostrophe s. Total score, and then we can do add, and then we want it to print the student totals I. Well, we'll just also put this to a string, just so I don't get any problems with that. Okay, don't mean to do that. After doing this, we want to output stats. Now let's just see if this is all working. How many students? 2. Nathan got 23. Oh, sorry, 12, 23, 21. Simon got. I should pick different numbers. 20 and 13. Nathan's total score is 56. Simon's total score is 38. Okay, that's everything we've done so far has worked. Output the names followed by score. Output the class average. So the well, we calculated the class average here. So what's the easiest way to get it to here? Well, for the sake of this, I'm literally just going to print the class average, but I can just do a class average like that, because that's going to get run just before it, so it's fine. How many students? 2, Nathan 20, 12, 10, 2, Simon 20, for 12, 7. Class average 31.5, Nathan's total, Simon's total. So there we go. That is everything. Oh, well, output the student with the highest score. And okay, well, I will do that actually. Might as well. It's part of the task. So we want to find the highest marked person and output their thing. So what we can do is we can be we will say highest score equals 0 for I in range 0, len student names. What do you want to do? So we want to loop through everyone and we want to get all the scores. Yeah, that's a good idea. Want to get all the scores from the student totals and find out which is the highest score. So if students totals I is greater than highest score, then highest score is equal to student totals I. Now this is obviously just going to loop through them all, and then this highest score will equal whatever the highest score is. And then what do we want to do? We want to know the position of that highest score. So we can put highest score pos equals 0. Why not? And then, so if it's equal, then we'll set highest score pos equals I. And then finally, what we can just do is we can print the output. So we can print the best student is. It's quite mean to just choose a best student, but the best student is, and then it's going to say plus st. Well, it's already a string anyway, so is student names, and then it's going to be highest score pos plus space with a score of colon space that plus str, and then the highest score itself, just to print the score. And that should be the end of it. Let's see if this all works. So I'll just keep to 2 so it doesn't take forever. Nathan got 12, 23, and 35. Simon got 4, 6, and 7. So class average is 43.5. Nathan's total score is 70. Simon's total score is 17. The best student is Nathan with a score of 70. There you go. Done. Okay, so this was a little bit more than usual. We used different functions for running the different parts. We had some global arrays at the top for storing all the different things. We had a main function just for going through all these. We could have simply put these at the end of each function, but I just like keeping it neat like this so we see what order everything is running. We have printing, we have turning integers into strings to print to the text. We have checking here for the highest in an array. We have lots of looping between things, and we also have checking limits, so that if someone enters something out of a limit, it doesn't let them continue until they do enter something in the limit. And then we also have appending to arrays. So we've covered quite a lot in this just for a second task. That is the task done. If you want more Python tutorials or any other tutorials, just please give feedback in the comments. I want to know what you want to know. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like on it. I hope it was helpful. I hope you had fun doing the task. If you want more tasks, obviously just say. I'm going to keep doing them probably anyway. But if I find out it's a popular thing, then I'll do more of them. I guess that's it. I've covered everything in this video that I needed to. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.